Hi everybody, hope you're doing marvellously well. I'm sitting here with the king of brutal himself, Kristian Kohle. How are you? You good?
I'm good. As you might see, I'm not in my studio because I have just arrived here in Los Angeles and we're having a lot of fun. And to celebrate this, I thought we should do something really cool. Warren and me will talk about our desert island gear for recording a metal or heavy rock
Rock in my yes.
album. I'm really curious to find out what you would take on that desert island trip in order to make a great sound.
Okay, I have a question, because luckily we haven't really talked too much about this in advance, meaning the answers will be honest, they are not contrived. It's a good thing, but the question is there a budget? Is there any budget?
No budget.
And any budget, ooh!
You just have to come up with the answers quickly.
Oh, that's easy.
Like fast
I
answers.
know what I love.
Okay, so it's like a quick, like gear ping pong. Let's call it gear ping pong, okay? I'm going to start with this one.
Okay.
Vocal microphone for loud and aggressive rock vocals. Just one mic.
The best, I have a U47 sitting over there, and that's my go-to microphone. It's a $25,000 Neumann.
How old is that one?
1953.
Oh, wow. And you bought it? Like
Almost as old as Eric.
Hello, Eric. Nice to meet you.
No, yeah, a long time ago. I've had it for a long time. However, the best vocal mic I've ever used for rock is not my microphone. It belonged to Brian Colstrom. And Brian Colstrom and Dave Jordan made Dirt by Alice in Chains. And they had a beautiful U67. I don't know who owns it now. I met somebody the other day who told me, remember it was about a year ago, Eric, who told me they bought that mic. But yeah, it's, if I was to say, is
the 47 too dark for it?
No, the 47 is perfect. There's just something about this particular 67 that was just like, wow. It has everything you love about a U87, but with a little extra around it.
Oh, okay.
Just a little bit. And the weirdest thing is when I did Aerosmith, Stephen had never sung into a 47.
Really?
Yeah.
Never in his career?
His whole time. When I threw it up and we used it, he loved it. He absolutely loved it.
That one here.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the U67 was always the mic that he used. Now, gun to my head, of all the mic, I love that 47, like for 99% of the situations, but gun to my head, best ever rock, like heavy rock microphone I ever used was the U67, belonging to Dave Jordan.
The cliche answer would have been Shure SM7B, which is also a microphone that works for those kinds of vocals. It just sounds, for me, it just sounds a little, let's just say, a little less sophisticated than a condenser microphone. But I heard the story that for AC/DC records, either a 47 tube or an SM7B, which means you go from whatever, 20,000 to 399. I think on one of the latest records, they used the SM7B for all the backing vocals and the 47 for...
That makes sense.
Yeah. But now it's your turn. Ask me something. Come on.
Well, what was good is like, I got to find out what you like there as well. Okay, well, I'm going to ask you there's two questions here that I'm going to save one. I'm going to go with this one first. What is the ultimate guitar amp mic for you?
Guitar amp and guitar amp mic, both.
No, guitar amp mic, the mic.
Okay, the mic. That would be the 57. Easy answer. That would be the... I'm boring.
And you know why it was going to be a two-part answer?
What?
Because what's the best snare drum mic?
No, I used to say, no, I have actually moved on. I've moved on to more, I call them modern sounding dynamic mics. SE Electronics, Mic Tech, they have those...
Microtech FL?
No, Mic Tech.
I don't know Mic Tech.
Mic Tech, great company. I even brought the snare drum mic with me in my bag here.
Okay.
So I'll show you next week. But I think those have those modern neodymium magnets, so they just sound a little faster. Audix is another example.
Yeah, yeah.
So I prefer those mics to the 57, which always sounds a little boxy and slow in comparison. Which amp would you, guitar amp, which one would you take?
My favorite guitar amp?
Like because on a desert island, you need to do everything with that amp. So from clean to crunch to high gain to leads, rhythm.
It's changed quite dramatically. For many, many years, it would have been a Marshall for everything, for anything and everything. And then I went through a period of really loving Vox AC30s. I've always been a Brian May fan, so.
But then it depends. Then it depends on where that desert island is, because today you told me that Marshalls actually sound different at 110 volt compared to 240, or what do you have in Britain? 200 and
220, 240.
220. Yeah. So that is true. Yeah. So they sound thinner over here than no.
That's what everybody says. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's probably going to be some electronics guys who are experts, and I'm not, that will weigh in here. But yeah, the voltage makes a big difference.
But let's just say it's a European desert island. So
yeah,
which
European desert island with higher voltage and amps running hotter. Yeah. For me, it was always a Marshall JMP, of which I have one. I also have a 1978 Mark II, which I absolutely love. And I love, the super leads. I also have a JCM 900, which I absolutely love. There's lots of amps I love, but these days, see, this is where it gets weird, because if it's heavy rock, then you know what I'm going to say. I
actually don't know what you're going to say. I was expecting the Rev, because I think you like the Rev amps, right?
I do.
They have a lot of channels, so the EVH. Okay.
Yeah, the new one.
Okay,
yeah.
The one from Fender.
Yeah. Well, it's Eddie's design.
Oh, it's Eddie's design.
They just make it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty obsessional. We had once had a very long conversation about pedals and sounds and stuff like that, and I realized at the end of it that I knew about this much about pedals compared with him.
Okay.
He really did know what he was talking about. Yeah. If it's just heavy rock, then the EVH is just going to do the job. And I know,
the people on my channel know that I'm like not the biggest 5150 fan. And also like it has been so like used and abused in the metal world in the last 20 years that it's really boring. But I have to say, we also got that one, or the stealth version of that one in Germany in the studio. And it is, for me, it is the best sounding 5150 out there, the new one.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. I think my Desert Island amp would be, while you were talking, I thought about it. Because in the studio, usually, I can switch amps. So I have one amp for the cleans, one amp for crunch, one amp for, you don't need one amp that can do it all. But the closest would be my Dietzel D-Moll. That is an amp that is not that known because people go for the bigger Dietzels usually, the Herbert and the VH4. But there's something magic about this D-Moll. It has the thickest mid-range of all the high gain amps that I know, and it sounds great from really clean to over crunchy to anything. So I use it a lot, and it also looks cool.
The amp that I don't own and I've only played with once was over at Cameron's was the Uberschall.
That's also a great amp.
With the cab is pretty.
That is actually on my list. That one is on my list. The twin jet version of the Uberschall. I just want to have that one. I just got the Synergy, the Bogner Uberschall preamp for the Synergy system, which sounds great. But I just got to get that one.
It does remind me of what I love about the EVH. It's that thing when you play a chord and it's just, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like all frequencies at once.
Yeah.
It literally is just like a wall of guitar.
And it has a great low end. And it reminds me of the low end of the rectifier, just a little bit tighter maybe.
Yeah.
And the cab, I think, is X pattern, 2 V30s and 2 75 watt Celestians, the ones that I don't like. The cab sounds great in the room. I would just mic the V30s though, not the other speakers. So next one, what do I want to know? Overhead mics.
See, this is where it gets, this is the difference between, at least in my humble opinion, because I don't know your opinion, this is where it gets different between classic rock and modern rock. Now, Bob Marlette does a lot of modern rock records, and he uses cymbal mics.
Spot mics, right.
For cymbals.
Yeah.
I use overheads in like classic rock to give a view of the kit.
Me too.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not that classic. I'm just old, but not classic. German humor.
So to me, it's
same thing. I want to pick up. I always say I want to pick up the whole kit in favor of the cymbals.
Yeah, yeah. That's what
I'm trying to do. Like more cymbals, of course, but I want to have the snare in the middle. I want to cover like the weight of the shells with the overheads too. That's why I'm using darker sounding
That's what
overheads.
I do too. Yeah, yeah.
Large
So
diaphragm.
if it's absolutely no, if there's no budget constraints, then it's going to be whatever the most expensive Neumanns the studio has. Simple as that. Now, there are loads of incredible mics and affordable. That's why I was asking about budget, because we in this studio, we use a pair of inexpensive Lewitt mics.
They would be too bright for my taste. Like my all-time fave is the AKG 414. It's called BULS, like the
That
old
was
version.
that was my standard miking setup for like all the Frey records. All that stuff I did was always a pair of 414s because they're just that little bit darker. When they smash the cymbal, it doesn't rip your ears off.
You can still like add some presence later if you need, but they always just sound balanced and nice, and the toms sound great. Snare has a lot of body and weight, and lately, I've discovered that the new Austrian mic, I always keep on forgetting the name, 818 something.
Eric?
OC 818 or something?
There's a couple, isn't there?
I'll put it here. That mic, which is based on the C12 capsule, and like on the 414, sounds a little brighter, but just as good. And of course has a lot more bells and whistles, Bluetooth and remote controllable, and you can do a lot of crazy shit with that mic.
Which is my story of how I discovered Lewitt.
Oh, really?
So what happened is I didn't want to buy a pair of 414s. Don't get me wrong, they're great microphones, but a decent pair of the ULB, whatever, that's like $4,000 or $5,000. And I remember thinking to myself, I just want a generic stereo pair of mics. And somebody, this is a long time ago, they don't even make this mic anymore. Somebody said to me, oh, there's this new company called Lewitt and they make a 550. So I bought a pair of these 550 mics for about less than buying one AKG and put them up. And I'm like, these sound like 414s.
Okay.
And they're both companies, but both, I love both the mics, the Austrian Audio and the Lewitt, and they both come from the same idea, aren't they? They're ex-AKG employees that have started their own companies.
Yeah. We like Austria. Hello, Austria.
We do like Austria. Okay, well, you already kind of answered the snare drum one, which I was going to use anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you did answer the guitar one. We've done vocals between us.
What else do you need on a desert island?
We did amp. I suppose. I suppose then we have to get into the guitar. So if you had only one guitar to track with, to do rhythms and leads, what would it be? And would it have a trem?
No. I can't. I don't even know what to do with it. So
Okay, good.
I can't. I know. I can't.
I have two guitars in here with trims.
Yeah, but you can play guitar. You can play guitar. I can just go jugga jugga jugga. So I don't need that.
We only just put the bar in that the other day because I didn't know where it was. I wouldn't know how to use it.
Me neither. I don't know. It's just trems are just to make guitars go out of tune. Like I don't need them. Yeah. It would be
the end of the song.
That's cool. But I can do that in Cubase, just pitch shift or use a whammy or something. But it would be a baritone guitar, so I can go low. That's important.
For everything. You put leads on, you played leads on it and everything?
Yeah, I would. That works because I need to be able to play lower and like standard tuning.
Who's baritone?
Doesn't really matter. It would be some kind of, let's call it Les Paul style guitar. So mahogany and maple neck, but baritone. And I think it would be one humbucker and a P90 for clean tones. And the humbucker also splittable. So that would give me the most options.
Wow.
Like, I would love to have an EMG here and a P90 there. Something like that. But
so you want it to be quiet. You want noiseless as much as possible.
Yeah, and also I just love like EMGs. They're not that popular anymore. Like they're not the new kid on the block. They're not fancy, but the EMG 81 is still a great, very tight sounding metal humbucker. I use it all the time. Now people use Fishmans, which sound great, and other hipster humbuckers. But I'm an
hipster humbuckers. That's the name of our new band. We're the hipster humbuckers. Woo! I can answer my question of that one. This. So it's a Gibson The Paul.
Ah, I got one too.
Yeah, and it has Dirty Fingers, Gibson Dirty Finger pickups in it. And they're just, have you got one of these as well?
I got one that is thinner. That the Paul actually means it's an SG, but in a Les Paul shape, right?
Yeah.
So it has no top, no maple top.
No. This is it. I think it's just a walnut everything. Walnut body, walnut neck.
I got
1978. This was built.
Okay, I got a black one from the 90s.
This is just like you just plug it into that Van Halen guitar, a Van Halen amp, and it's just amazing. This is a fantastic guitar. It's everything I love. Yeah, it's got Grover machine heads. It's so simple, but just whiz around on it. It's so easy to play. It's so well set up.
That is.
It's a gorgeous guitar.
Nice.
$700.
Back in the days.
Yeah.
Would you actually bring a real bass amp to that island, or are the days over and you just use a plug-in? Or
I like bass amps for the character.
Also cab or?
Yeah, to be honest, I think the best all-round bass amp for every genre is the same for me.
Which is?
Ampeg B15.
That is a good sound. Yeah.
It just does that job.
Yeah.
I've seen guys come in playing the heaviest heavy using a flip top. I've seen guys come in and be funky with it. I've seen everything. It just rumbles along. It's got character.
What kind of speaker is in there?
I don't remember. I think they may have had an Eminence in there. Do people know? Remember? I think it might have been an Eminence.
At least the SVT Classics, they have Eminence.
Yeah.
I think Eminence makes all the Ampeg speakers.
I think so, yeah. I think that's
I will ask, hey Jim, please make a comment. Jim from Eminence.
Yes.
Which speaker? Should be Eminence. Yeah, should be Eminence. I think I don't need an amp anymore. Would be nice, some kind of character amp like an Ampeg SVT, but I would just take some kind of pedal, like a dark glass pedal or Tech 21 Sense amp pedal, some kind of distortion pedal.
The Sense amps are just great.
They've
been around for 150 years.
They actually,
they're still great.
My favorite is the one, the Ampeg Tech 21 pedal, which is called VT Bass.
Right.
And I played it live straight into, like when I was on tour a few years ago playing bass, straight into the console, and it sounded great. Just one pedal. And it also has like an inbuilt, I don't even think it's a cab emulation. It's just some kind of filter, just taking off the nasty high end, and you're good to go. That pedal is great. Do they still make that one? VT Bass. I would take that one and the Jazz Bass. The biggest problem on the desert island would be the bass strings, because I like a very bright dang 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 dangle 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 bass tone.
Dangle dangle, yeah.
Dangle dangle, and that just disappears after a few hours of playing. So you gotta.
Well, the desert island, we're saying a lifetime supply of strings.
Okay, yeah, we need that. Dangle dangle is important.
Yeah. I do like a jazz bass for that as well. Yeah, we have a Mexican jazz bass with a badass bridge on it. The badass bridge on it, that's a huge difference in sustain.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Got to try that one.
Yeah.
I got to try all your stuff here.
Yeah, there's
a lot
to try.
I just arrived here and I haven't really seen much, but we will do a little studio tour later, right?
Yeah, that'd be good. And, nobody's done a studio tour.
Oh, I'll do a studio tour. First to do a studio tour. Let me know if you want to see this.
All the time I get asked to do a studio tour, and I'm like, no, soon.
Yeah,
you're going to be the guy to do it.
But it's a beautiful bass here.
The one thing we didn't talk about in drums, because this is always contentious. This is a good one. What would you use on toms?
Same like on snare. I like those modern mics I talked about, but I could also use 421s. Always works.
It's weird with the 421s, because they've become in the 90s, all of those great records that Michael Beinhorn was making and Dave Jordan, so the Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, all those great sounding records, all use 421s. But there's recently, like over the last 10 years, been this massive backlash where it becomes a joke, like, oh yeah, 421s on toms. I know a couple of people hate them, and the reason why they dislike them is that the cymbal bleed going into them always sounds revolting.
I don't like the size of them. Like those modern mics, they just have like a fraction of the size, those clip-on mics, or like the new SE electronic mics, they sound fantastic, it's just like, that's a problem sometimes, especially if you record extreme metal like I do, where, drummers have millions of cymbals and there's no space. So there's just,
Right.
And are there clips that work with the 421? No, you need mic stands as well. So there are like a complicated or not easy to set up microphone. That's what I don't like about them. But I can work with them.
I end up using them all the time.
Yeah.
But there was definitely a backlash. I actually think the best Tom mic sounds I ever got, I did a couple of albums with Dave Sardi, and he'd use 414s, 414s.
Oh, okay.
And now obviously you're at the mercy of how much cymbal bleed goes
20
in there.
dB pad, yeah.
But they sound really good. They really get the snap without being too bright. But they really pick up the
body.
Yeah, the body.
Right. But just don't make the drummer hit them, right?
But you know what we use? Even more excessive. We use C12As.
Oh.
That's what we put on our toms.
Nice.
Yeah, so
nice.
throw 20 grand's worth of tom mics up there. Yeah, it's fine, you know.
Kick drum.
The Audix one is really good, isn't it?
Really good. Really
it's
good.
really, really good.
My favorite. I'm out.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Audix one's really, really good.
D6.
D6. I do really like the Sennheiser one. Is it called the 602?
Yeah. You know what?
It's cheap. It's like $179.
I don't know which one it is, but I'm talking about the 900 something from Sennheiser, because what happened to me lately was I went to a studio in the Czech Republic to record a band live, metal band, hardcore band, and I took the most important mics with me, of course.
Sure.
And I just forgot my kick mics. So I was depending on whatever they had in that studio. So they had a D112, which I never liked. I don't know, it's too honky for me, or maybe I'm too stupid to EQ it or something. Whatever.
You just have to work harder. The D6 you don't have to do any work. You just put it in.
And people also tell me the D12 is better than the 112, but I don't know if that's true.
I think what that is, the thing is the D12 has a very, very classic 70s sound. So people were very disappointed when the D112 came out, because it's like it doesn't have any of that 70s sound. And it's scooped, but it's nowhere near as scooped as a D6, which just sounds like a rock kick straight away.
It has way more
So it's kind
highs.
of a compromise mic. I think people...
But, again, so I asked the guy, what do you have? So he had that D112, and he had that Sennheiser E900 something, 906 or so. I'll put it here.
Yeah.
And that was all I had, and that Sennheiser microphone sounded fantastic. I really need that one now. So
is it about this big?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the same one I mean.
Okay. So it's
really
sometimes
good.
you have to be forced to use stuff you haven't tried before just to find out it's actually, for me, I couldn't compare it directly, but for me it just sounded as good as the D6 or even better. So I really want to try that one. Great microphone, very mix ready, aggressive, modern rock sound, like also scoop with a lot of click and a lot of low end, and then into the SSL, and I boosted the low end a little bit and the click a little bit, and then there's my kick sound.
Bob's your uncle.
That was good.
So did we cover it? We covered the whole metal band?
The whole metal band, yeah.
The
We
rock
don't need keyboards. We don't need any other instruments, because that's not metal. That's not brutal. I think we're good to go, right? But don't worry, I'll be here for 2 more weeks, right? We're going to NAMM together. We're going to do a lot of cool stuff together, right?
Absolutely.
We're going to visit other studios, other people, and we're going to record a lot of nice content for the upcoming Kohle Audio Cult Academy together. A lot of stuff we can't talk about now, but that will be the most amazing content ever. And
Did you just get Scottish? Ever?
That was German.
Ever?
That was the Rammstein R. We just had 2 guys from Engel here, and we had
we have Addy and Valerie. We had 5 Germans.
5 Germans here. So we were just making California a little more German. That's it. We're back soon with a studio tour and other videos. In the meantime, I'll enjoy the Californian sun and hopefully some local beer. So far, the beer has been really bad. I'll give you some updates very soon. Thanks a lot, Warren, for having me, and always great to talk to you.
Yep. So long, farewell.
See you in hell.
Auf Wiedersehen. Au revoir. Tschüss.
Bye bye.
Goodbye.